The words hit me like a fist to the chest, stealing the air from the room. I'm going to travel with the kids, Sarah said, her voice steady, almost rehearsed as she stood in the kitchen, her back to me, stirring a pot of pasta. We don't want you to come. My fork froze halfway to my mouth, the bite of chicken cooling in the silence. The kids' laughter drifted from the living room, a stark contrast to the ice forming in my veins. Good luck, I managed, my voice a hollow echo, because what else could I say when my world tilted on its axis? The kitchen smelled of garlic and simmering tomatoes, a false promise of normalcy. Sarah didn't turn around. Her shoulders, squared and unyielding, told me this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. I stared at the back of her head, her auburn hair catching the glow of the overhead light, and wondered when she'd stopped being the woman who used to curl into me on the couch, whispering dreams of family vacations. The kids, Lila 7 and Max 10, were oblivious, their voices rising over a cartoon's cheerful music. I pushed my plate away, appetite gone, and tried to parse the weight of her words. A trip without me? Fine. But the way she said we, like I was already outside the circle of our family, cut deeper than I could name. Over the next few days, the house felt like a stage set for a play I hadn't rehearsed. Sarah was all brisk efficiency, packing suitcases with the kids' clothes, booking flights on her laptop, her fingers flying over the keys with a purpose that excluded me. Where are you going? I asked one evening, leaning against the doorway of our bedroom, watching her fold Lila's favorite sundress. Greece, she replied, not looking up. Santorini, maybe Athens. The kids will love it. Her tone was light, but there was a wall behind it, one I couldn't scale. I nodded, swallowing the question I wanted to ask. Why don't you want me there? Instead, I said, sounds nice, and retreated to the garage, where I tinkered with a broken lawnmower, pretending the ache in my chest was just heartburn. The red flags had been there, hadn't they? I'd seen them but chalked them up to stress. The late-night texts she'd dismiss as work stuff. The way she'd linger at the mirror, applying makeup for a girls' night, that seemed to happen every other week. The new perfume, sharp and unfamiliar, that clung to her clothes when she came home. I told myself it was nothing. Sarah was a good mother, a dedicated nurse. She deserved her outlets. But now, as I watched her pack, those moments replayed like a montage in a thriller, each one a clue I'd ignored. A week before their departure, I found the first crack in her facade. I was looking for Max's soccer cleats in the hall closet when a small notebook slipped from a shelf, landing open at my feet. Her handwriting, neat and looping, filled the pages. I shouldn't have read it, but my eyes caught a name, Evan, and my stomach twisted. Evan says the cliffs at sunset are magic, she'd written. He wants to show us. Us. The word burned. I snapped the notebook shut, my hands trembling, and shoved it back where I'd found it. Evan. Her coworker. The charming doctor with the easy smile who'd joined us for dinner once. His eyes lingering on Sarah a beat too long. I'd laughed it off then. Now it felt like a blade. That night, I confronted her. The kids were asleep, the house heavy with the hum of the refrigerator. Sarah sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, her face lit by the screen's glow. Who's Evan taking to Greece? I asked, my voice low, trying to keep the accusation from spilling over. She froze, her thumb hovering over the screen. What? She said, but her eyes darted away guilty. Evan from work. You wrote about him in your notebook. Her face hardened, but there was a flicker of panic in her eyes. You went through my things? She shot back, deflecting. That's not the point, Sarah. Are you? Is there something going on? My voice cracked, betraying the fear I'd been burying. She stood, crossing her arms. You're being paranoid, Tom. Evan's just a friend. He's been to Greece, gave me some tips. That's all. Her words were sharp, but they didn't land right. They were too polished, like she'd practiced them. Then why can't I come? I pressed, stepping closer, searching her face for the woman I'd married. She looked away, her jaw tight. Because I need space, okay? The kids and I need this. Her voice softened, but it wasn't for me. It was for herself, a justification. I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but the weight of her words pinned me in place. Space. From me. The days blurred into their departure. I drove them to the airport, the car suffocating with unspoken words. Lila hugged me tight, her small arms a lifeline. Max gave me a fist bump, his eyes on his phone. Sarah's goodbye was a peck on the cheek, perfunctory, her eyes already somewhere else. Good luck, I said again, the words bitter now, as they disappeared through security. Back home, the house was a tomb. I poured a whiskey and sat at the kitchen table, staring at the notebook I'd retrieved from the closet. I read it all, every damning word. Plans for dinners with Evan in Santorini. A hotel booked for 2, not 3. Her excitement, her guilt, her justification scrawled in ink. She wasn't just cheating. She was building a life without me. I could have called her, screamed into the void of an international call, but what would it change? Instead, I waited. The betrayal simmered, turning my love to ash. When they returned, tanned and smiling, I was ready. Sarah walked in, dropping her bags, and froze when she saw the notebook on the table. Tom, she started, but I cut her off. I know about Evan, I said, my voice steady now, cold. I know everything. Her face crumpled, but not with remorse, with relief, like she'd been waiting to be caught. I'm sorry, she whispered, but it was hollow. The kids ran in, oblivious, and I looked at them, my heart breaking for the family we'd been. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I picked up my keys and walked out, leaving her with the truth she tried to hide. Good luck, I said one last time, the door closing behind me, the sound echoing like a gunshot. I wasn't running from the pain. I was walking towards something else, something I couldn't yet name. But I knew one thing. I was done being the fool.